Welcome to Passport to Sleep, a calming journey through real places and dreamy escapes. Let's begin tonight's story. The road into Williamsburg is framed in tall trees and long shadows. The oaks lean overhead like old soldiers standing watch, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The late afternoon light catches on brick walls and wrought iron fences, and the scent of pine. Damp earth. And something sweet like clover floats through the open car window. We arrive just past lunch and pull up to the Williamsburg Inn, a stately white-columned building set back from the road, tucked beneath tall trees and surrounded by gardens just beginning to bloom. The drive is gravel. It crunches softly beneath the tyres. Bellmen in crisp vests greet us with quiet nods and warm smiles, and we step into the cool hush of the lobby. Marble floors, soft rugs, polished wood, and a hint of lemon oil in the air. Our room feels more like a guest suite in an old estate. The windows open onto a private garden. The air outside is warm but not heavy, and the only sound is the quiet click of cicadas in the distance. We don't unpack. We pour ice water into crystal glasses and sit for a moment, letting the stillness settle around us. We head out on foot toward the heart of colonial Williamsburg, walking slowly along Duke of Gloucester Street, the main thoroughfare of the historic district. The bricks underfoot are uneven, smoothed by centuries. The buildings rise low and wide on either side, taverns, workshops, clapboard homes painted soft greens, pale blues, barn red. The shutters are real. The doors creak when opened. The street lamps are gaslit. The first thing we notice is the sound, or lack of it. No traffic, no engines, no buzz. Just the soft thud of carriage wheels on earth, the clop of hooves, and the occasional rustle of wind through leaves. Everything else is voices, soft practiced voices of interpreters in breeches and bonnets, speaking in 18th century cadence to families, school groups, or no one at all. Lunch is light and simple at Aroma's Cafe, just outside the historic zone, but still close enough to carry the scent of hearth fires. We sit by the window, the room filled with the smell of roasting coffee and toasted bread. We share a warm brie sandwich with apple slices and fig jam, and a bowl of sweet potato soup, velvety and bright. It's quiet inside. A ceiling fan turns slowly. Locals read books or chat softly over mugs of tea. Back outside, the sun filters through the trees. We make our way past the blacksmith shop, where sparks fly in rhythmic bursts. A man in a linen shirt and apron hammers iron into a shape we can't yet recognize. The anvil rings. The forge breathes. We pause to watch a weaver at the loom, her fingers moving quickly, the wool stretched taut. She speaks as she works, about flax and dyes, and how long it takes to make a single yard. Her voice is soft, almost like she's talking to the thread itself. At Bruton Parish Church we slip inside. The doors are thick and the air cools instantly. The pews are narrow and hard, carved from wood worn smooth by use. Sunlight slants through tall windows, laying bright patterns on the floor. We sit for a while in silence. There's a stillness here that feels older than even the walls. In the corner, a woman hums as she polishes brass. It echoes faintly. Back outside, the day is starting to fade. The light has turned golden. Shadows stretch across the lawns. We return to the inn to change, then walk to dinner at Christiana Campbell's Tavern, one of George Washington's favourite dining spots, preserved and candlelit, just as it might have been in 1770. The building glows from within, soft yellow light spilling onto the walkway. Inside, the tavern is low-ceilinged, wood-beamed, warm. The tables are heavy and wide. Servers wear linen and aprons, moving quietly with practiced ease. The air smells of bread and butter, and the faint tang of something stewing. We're seated by the fire. We begin with spoon bread, soft and hot, served with whipped honey butter. Then comes the seafood stew, thick with shrimp and crab, rich with spice, ladled into a pewter bowl. On the side, pickled vegetables in a blue and white crock, and a pot of she-crab soup that tastes like the ocean whispering through a fog. Outside the window, the lamps flicker. Inside, the fire cracks. Somewhere in the next room, a fiddler plays a reel. Dessert is apple cobbler with cinnamon cream shared between us, eaten slowly with small spoons. After dinner, we step back into the night. The street is quiet again. The gas lamps cast golden circles on the brick. A couple passes, speaking in low voices. A carriage rattles by, its lantern swinging gently. We walk slowly down Duke of Gloucester Street, past garden gates and herb beds, past closed shutters and ivy-covered porches. The crickets have started their chorus. The sky is the colour of faded parchment. Stars peek through in patches. Back at the inn, our room is dimly lit. The turn-down service has left a small wrapped chocolate on the pillow. The windows are still open. Outside, the leaves rustle. We sit once more on the little sofa by the window and sip peppermint tea. The air smells faintly of smoke and wood. A candle flickers on the mantel. When we slip between the heavy sheets, the bed sighs beneath us. The pillows are soft. The silence is perfect. Outside, the past continues, and we let ourselves drift. We wake to the sound of birds again, different from yesterday's doves. These are smaller, quicker, flitting through the magnolia outside the window, like they have secrets to share. The sun is soft and low, shining in stripes across the wooden floorboards. The room at the Williamsburg Inn is still cool, the air light with garden scents and early quiet. We take breakfast on the terrace, white linen tablecloths and silver cutlery, small glass vases with single blooms, a bowl of steel-cut oats with brown sugar and pecans, a pot of black tea with honey, buttered toast on a porcelain plate, painted with blue vines. The air smells like citrus and old wood. After breakfast, we set out by car, winding slowly eastward toward Yorktown, just 20 minutes away, but wrapped in an entirely different hush. The trees thicken again along the road, rising in slow arcs. The light changes, brighter at the edges, cooler in the hollows. We arrive at the Yorktown battlefield just as the breeze picks up off the river. There's no grand entrance, just quiet parking spaces and a flag fluttering at half-mast. The visitor centre is made of brick and thyme. Inside, a park ranger offers a map, but we wander mostly without it. The paths are soft gravel, bordered by grassy ridges and cannon still pointed down in visible enemy lines. It's peaceful now, almost too much so. We follow the trail past earthworks built by Continental troops, low mounds tufted with grass, thick with silence. The air carries a touch of iron and dust. Butterflies move lazily over the clover. Birds dart from tree to tree. There are interpretive signs with dates and diagrams. Washington's troops here, Cornwallis over there. But we mostly just walk. We stop at a wide hill where the cannons sit like forgotten instruments. A family speaks softly nearby, then moves on. We stay. Looking out over the open field, it's easy to imagine the noise, the smoke, the fear, the thud of boots. But it's not loud now, it's still. We walk along the siege lines, the grass swaying gently. At the redoubts, we pause again, the trees taller here, casting long shadows. Every so often, we catch a glimpse of the York River, glinting in the distance. By mid-morning, we're in historic Yorktown village, a quiet cluster of colonial buildings along brick sidewalks, where the river draws close and the air smells sweet. We wander into a glass-blowing studio, where a craftsman turns a lump of molten red into a translucent globe. The furnace roars, but the artist speaks softly over it, explaining the rhythm of breath and heat. There's a small bookshop, a gallery of watercolours, and a house where George Washington once dined. We stop to sit on a shaded bench in front of the Nelson House, its red bricks mottled with time. Lunch is at Carrot Tree Kitchens, tucked into a white clapboard house with rocking chairs on the porch. Inside, it smells like cornbread and sugar. We sit at a sunlit table and order chicken salad on croissants, a side of tomato pie, and a tall glass of sweet tea so cold the glass sweats in our hands. Dessert is an unapologetically large slice of carrot cake, layered with thick cream cheese frosting and toasted pecans. We eat slowly, watching people stroll past the windows, families, couples, the occasional solo traveller wrapped in their own slow thoughts. In the afternoon, we walk down to the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown. The building is cool and quiet inside. We step through galleries filled with aged flags, letters scrawled in fading ink, muskets lined in neat rows, and a large diorama of the battlefield that glows softly beneath glass. Voices come through overhead speakers, calm and measured, quoting Jefferson, Lafayette, the women who kept homes and farms as the war crept through their lives. Outside, the recreated Continental Army encampment is nearly empty. Canvas tents flap in the breeze. A man in uniform tends a small fire. He nods at us but says nothing, just stirs a kettle and watches the smoke curl upward. Nearby, the 18th century farm hums quietly. Hens scratching, a garden of beans and squash. A woman kneeling by the herbs, humming to herself. The sun is lower now. The light leans golden. We return to the village and make our way to Riverwalk Landing just in time for dinner. The path curves beside the water, where tall ships are docked, their sails bundled tight. The wind here smells entirely of salt and wood. We're seated on the deck at Riverwalk Restaurant, overlooking the water as the sky begins to pink. The menu is short and seasonal. We order pan-seared rockfish caught just offshore and roasted vegetables, caramelized at the edges. A side of cornbread arrives warm in a small basket. We sip a glass of chilled white wine, dry and clean, the perfect contrast to the humid air. As the sun dips below the opposite shore, the river turns to glass. The bridge lights flicker on one by one, stretching across the water like a string of pearls. A heron stands motionless on a sandbar. We walk slowly along the river after dinner, following the cobblestone path until the sound of the water fades behind us. The air grows still. The shops are dark now. Only the occasional lamplight remains. The drive back is quiet. The trees are shadows now, their shapes rising and falling like waves. At the Williamsburg Inn, our room feels cooler than before. We brew chamomile tea and sit by the window, watching the lanterns sway outside. The leaves flicker in their glow. Somewhere nearby, a dog barks once, then silence. We lie back beneath the heavy quilt, the ceiling fan spinning slowly overhead, and let the day settle. History has a weight, but tonight, it rests lightly. The morning sun filters through the tall windows in slanted ribbons of gold. The breeze carries the sound of soft birdsong and the scent of something faintly sweet. Dew on warm brick, maybe, or the first white blossoms on the magnolia tree outside. The linens are cool, the room perfectly still. We dress slowly and sip tea on the terrace, watching the garden wake up. The leaves shimmer in the light. A pair of squirrels dart across the path, pausing only long enough to argue softly with each other before vanishing into the hedges. Our breakfast is quiet and simple, fresh fruit, a croissant still warm at its centre, and soft, salty butter that melts immediately when spread. Today we go further back. We drive toward Jamestown Island, where the road narrows and the trees close in around us. There's a stillness here that feels older than even the ruins. The Colonial Parkway winds alongside the water, stone-edged and tree-tunneled, the river flashing occasionally through the foliage like silver beneath green silk. We begin at historic Jamestown, the original site of the first permanent English settlement in America. There's no fanfare here, no reenactments, just quiet ground and the knowledge that everything began right beneath our feet. We walk the island loop trail, where the footpath leads us through marshland and past glassy inlets, the James River stretching wide and calm. The air smells of river silt and sun-warmed cedar. Herons stand like statues in the tall reeds, unmoving even as we pass. We linger near the church tower ruins, all that remains of the original brick structure, its weathered stone framed by soft grass and the occasional nodding wildflower. A breeze moves through the open windows. The doors are long gone. The silence remains. Inside the archaeological museum, we view clay pipes, rusty tools, fragments of dishes, beads, and bone. Tiny things found beneath centuries of mud and time. The smallest objects speak loudest here. Afterward, we head just down the road to Jamestown Settlement, where history rises again in 3 dimensions. We walk the recreated fort, passing a costumed interpreter preparing food over an open fire, the scent of wood smoke and herbs rising together. Inside a wooden cabin, light filters through slats in the wall, casting striped shadows over benches and barrels. There's a hush here too. Constructed, yes, but reverent. Outside, the replica ships bob gently at the dock. We climb aboard one and listen as the water laps softly against the hull. The ropes creak. The deck is warm beneath our feet. Lunch today is simple. The cafe at Jamestown Settlement serves fresh fare, and we take it outside to a shaded table. We eat Virginia ham biscuits with mustard and a salad of sweet corn and tomatoes, their juices tasting of sun and soil. A cold glass of iced tea beads with condensation in our hands. After lunch, we return to Williamsburg for one last quiet walk. The air is warmer now, the light heavy with late afternoon softness. We wander the edges of the historic district, stopping in the gardens behind the colonial nursery, where heirloom vegetables grow in neat rows and herbs hang in the breeze to dry. The garden beds are bordered with low fences and boxwood. A gardener in a straw hat moves slowly through the squash, humming a tune we don't recognise. We pass Bassett Hall, the former home of John D. Rockefeller Jr., nestled among the trees like a country retreat. The porch is shaded, rocking chairs still. The shutters creak faintly in the breeze. Inside the art museums of colonial Williamsburg, we linger among portraits and folk art. Paintings with hands too large and skies too wide, carved toys and quilts stitched with stories. The rooms are dim and cool. Our footsteps echo softly. As the sun begins to descend, we make our way back toward Duke of Gloucester Street. We stop for one final treat, perhaps a warm ginger cake from Raleigh Tavern Bakery, eaten with our hands beneath the low branches of a sugar maple. We sit on a bench and watch the evening settle in. A carriage rolls by. The driver lifts a hand in greeting. The horse's hooves click like punctuation against the brick. The lanterns flicker on one by one, and we begin to let go. At the inn, we gather our things slowly. The room feels like it's waiting for us to change our mind. We sit for a moment, letting the day's weight settle. The air carries all the stories we've walked through. We step into the evening air. The street is quiet, a few lamps glow in distant windows. The trees sway once and then are still. As we pull away, the road curves back into the trees. The branches arch overhead. The river disappears behind us. And Virginia, like the best kind of story, doesn't end. It just lingers. We hope you enjoyed this journey. Please follow us for more destinations, and don't forget to leave a review. It helps others find a peaceful place to drift off to. We'd also like to remind you that information in this episode may become outdated. Please verify with your own research if you plan on travelling to any of these lovely destinations. Until next time.